We are not just covering advanced engineering topics. We are also launching a powerful series on basic electrical science to help you build rock-solid fundamentals from scratch. So if you really want to recall or understand concepts instead of just memorizing them, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. And if you're enjoying our content, show your support. It truly pushes us to bring you more high-quality, easy-to-understand videos. For detailed learning, don't miss our blog circuitmasterclass.com. We've explained everything there in a much deeper way. You will find the link in the description below. Go check it out. Now let us enter the actual topic. Let's begin. The resistance depends mainly upon two factors. One is the number of collisions of free electrons with heavier ions, and another is the number of free electrons in the conductor. If we increase the length of the conductor, then each free electron has to cover a longer mean free path to reach its destination, that is, the positive end of the conductor. Suppose this is a conductor. This is the path showing the free electron movement under the influence of an electric field. Here, at every collision, the electron changes its direction of motion. Now let us double the length of the conductor. Now the free electron has to travel further forward, and hence it faces extra collisions in its extended path of travel. So each of the free electrons has to face more obstructions because it has to collide with a greater number of ions during its journey. We know that when the opposition to the movement of electrons increases, resistance increases. If we simply make the length of the conductor double, the obstruction faced by each free electron becomes double. So, resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Now, if the cross-section is increased without changing the length, then the number of free electrons in the conductor also increases. At the same time, the free path of each electron is not changing. That means the obstruction faced by individual free electrons does not change. However, due to the increase in cross-section, the volume of the conductor increases, and therefore the number of free electrons increases. So, the resistance decreases. So we can say that the resistance of a conductor is inversely proportional to the cross-section of the conductor. In another way, we can say that if the voltage is fixed across a conductor and the cross-section is increased, then the number of free electrons increases. That means more free electrons will experience the electrostatic force and move towards the positive terminal. So the current increases. Resistance is the ratio of voltage and current. Here voltage is fixed and current is increased. Obviously, resistance decreases. Now the bonding between outermost electrons in the metal atoms is different in different metals. In some metals it is more loosely bonded, and in some metals it is more tightly bonded. So, the availability of free electrons in different types of conductors is different. Therefore, depending upon the availability of free electrons, different materials have different resistances. Also, mean free paths are different for different metals and materials. So, the type of material of the conductor also determines the resistance. There is another factor which affects the resistance of the conductor, and that is temperature. If the temperature is increased, then the atoms or ions inside the conductor start vibrating more. Due to this increased vibration, the free electrons moving towards the positive terminal face more obstruction. So, if the temperature increases, the resistance of a metallic conductor also increases. But in the case of semiconductors, if the temperature increases, the availability of free electrons increases. As a result, the overall resistance of the semiconductor material decreases. So sometimes, with increasing temperature, resistance increases, and sometimes, in different materials, it decreases. So, the resistance of a conductor mainly depends upon four factors. One is its length, two is its cross-section, three is the material of the conductor, and the fourth one is an external factor, that is, temperature. So we can say that R is proportional to L and R is proportional to 1 by A, where L is the length of the conductor and A is the cross-sectional area. So R is proportional to L by A, and finally we get R equals to rho L by A, where rho is the constant of proportionality, and this rho is nothing but the resistivity of the conductor, which depends upon the material of the conductor. That rho determines the availability of free electrons in the conductor depending upon the material of the conductor. And the fourth factor is temperature. Hope you got the idea. Now we can write rho equals to R into A by L. If L is equal to 1 unit and A is also equal to 1 unit, then R becomes equal to rho. That means rho, or resistivity, or sometimes we call it specific resistance, is the resistance of a conductor of unit length and unit cross-section. Now think about a cube of unit length. A cube of unit length automatically has unit cross-sectional area. So we can also say that resistivity is the resistance measured between two opposite faces of that cube. Now suppose this is a conductor of unit length, say 1 meter, and the cross-sectional area of this conductor is 1 square meter. If we measure the resistance of this conductor using a multimeter, whatever resistance value we get, that is the resistivity of the conductor at that ambient temperature. Alright students, now let us move to an important concept, that is the unit of resistivity. We already know the relation, R equals to rho L by A. Or we can write rho equals to R into A by L. Now from this expression, you can clearly see that the unit of resistivity will depend on the unit of resistance, area and length. So let us understand this step by step. First case, if the length is measured in meter and the cross-sectional area is measured in meter square, then what will happen? R is in ohm, A is in meter square and L is in meter. So rho becomes ohm into meter square divided by meter. So finally, it becomes ohm meter. So the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter, written as ohm meter. Now let us take another case. If the length is measured in centimeter and the area is in centimeter square, then what will be the unit? Same logic. Rho equal to ohm into centimeter square divided by centimeter. So it becomes ohm centimeter. So depending on the unit system, resistivity can be expressed as ohm meter or ohm centimeter. Now let us move to the next concept, that is conductance. What is conductance? The reciprocal of resistance of a conductor is called conductance. So if a conductor has resistance R, then its conductance G is equal to 1 by R. Very simple. Now understand the meaning. Resistance is the opposition to current flow, but conductance is just the opposite. It tells how easily current can flow. So higher conductance means easier flow of current. Now what is the unit of conductance? Earlier it was called mho, which is just ohm written in reverse. But nowadays we use the unit Siemen and it is denoted by capital S. Now next important term, conductivity. Conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. So we can write sigma equals to 1 by rho. Now if a conductor has resistivity rho, then its conductivity is simply its inverse. Also, we know that G equals to 1 by R. And since R equals to rho L by A, we can write G equals to A by rho L. So we can also say G equals to sigma into A by L. Finally, what is the unit of conductivity? Since sigma is equal to 1 by rho and rho has unit ohm meter, so conductivity will have unit Siemen per meter written as S per meter. So, to summarize, resistivity tells opposition to current, conductance tells ease of current flow, and conductivity tells how good a material is in conducting electricity. Hope you understood the concept clearly. We are not just covering advanced engineering topics. We are also launching a powerful series on basic electrical science to help you build rock-solid fundamentals from scratch. So if you really want to recall or understand concepts instead of just memorizing them, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. And if you're enjoying our content, show your support. It truly pushes us to bring you more high-quality, easy-to-understand videos. For detailed learning, don't miss our blog circuitmasterclass.com. We've explained everything there in a much deeper way. You will find the link in the description below. Go check it out. Now let us enter the actual topic. Let's begin.